Welcome viewers back to the show. As I promised, we've got a young Brent Alford who's going to talk about his experiences with alcohol and the effects that he's suffering today from one of those binge-fueled drinking sessions. Now, Brent, tell us a bit about yourself. What were you doing before your accident?
Before my accident, I was actually working at the Collingwood Football Club in the membership department, running the cheer squad. I'd come up with the banner slogans every week, and yeah, that was my main job. But then I was leaving for South Australia for a new job in South Australia, Roxby Downs, the uranium mining town.
Okay. Now, Nuncio, Brent was 29 years of age. On one occasion, he went out there drinking with friends. Is that correct, Brent?
Yeah.
And he's taken a fall from a balcony.
Yes.
You believe that's the case?
Second level balcony.
Okay. And he's landed on the ground. He's gone into a coma, he's unconscious and spends an enormous amount of time in hospital. Nunc, this is very similar to a case of Toomey and Scolari's concrete constructions. 1996 case in the Supreme Court of Victoria. Just briefly give us the facts so then I can bring them back to Brent.
No worries, look, very similar case. This was a alcohol-fueled night. It was a Bucks night from what I understand. And obviously, they had been drinking all day and at one of the gentleman's premises at night, and there was a couple of kids or a couple of guys playing around in the stairs. This particular plaintiff tried to go around him. In doing so, lost balance and basically fell over the balustrade and landed on his head and ended up being quadriplegic. So it's
quadriplegic, tetraplegic.
Yeah, the whole graft of things.
And it was a case that went for 58 days in the Supreme Court of Victoria with 10 defendants.
Yeah.
And he got significant damages, but he's got lifelong injuries. Now, Brent, coming back to you. You fell off this balcony, ended up in hospital. You woke up how many days later?
7.5 weeks.
7.5 weeks later.
Yeah.
What injuries did you sustain in that accident?
I lost use of my left side in a brain bleed, and I had 17 broken bones. Yeah, so I lost my left side. I was in a wheelchair for 2 years.
Do you live alone, Brent?
Yeah, at the moment I am.
Okay. Now, Nuncio, unlike Toomey, who got damages from the Supreme Court, Brent never took a case to court. He didn't know what the facts were, couldn't work out if it was someone else's fault.
But Brent, do you remember anything at all about the day?
No, I know that I don't remember any of the night, just told by friends I was really drunk.
Yeah, look, it does highlight, Tony, that in this situation, Brent's got no recourse because if no one knows what happened or how it happened, then unfortunately there's no compensation recourse.
Brent, when you come out of hospital, what did you do after that?
I was in rehabilitation for about as an outpatient for about 10 months in hospital in Kew, now since my accident 6 years ago, I just do my own rehabilitation.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's no one there paying for it? It's a public system?
It's a public system, it's all me really.
Okay. In hindsight, Brent, what wouldn't you have done?
I wouldn't have gone out and got blind drunk at where I went. It was more like I probably would have went home and packed for the job. I went out for breakfast that morning with a good friend of mine, and he said to me, told him I was going out and pack for a job. But yeah, a friend called from and said he had a spare ticket to Parklife, and then I went to Parklife and ended up with a large day of drinking.
But Parklife's like a music festival, if I understand. Those type of so there's a message to viewers out there that those music festivals where a lot of people drinking all day, accidents like this can happen when you're on the booze too much.
Brent, what do you do with yourself these days?
At the moment, I run my own business, talking to young adults, older teenagers about life choices, referring to my accident where I made a few bad choices with my alcohol consumption.
Yeah, it's amazing that you were 29 years of age and now you're 6 years on, and you've realised what you shouldn't have done, and now you're trying to help young people make sure that what's happened to you doesn't happen to them. Is that correct?
It is correct. I don't try and be the preacher. I just try and tell them my story and what happened to me and let them know it can happen to them as well.
Nuance, assuming you had have known what happened to Brent back 6 years ago, what would you have done? You would have to investigate the circumstances, wouldn't you?
Yeah, look, I said it'd be a big investigation as to how it happened, what had been consumed with the alcohol-wise, the actual premises, if there's any defects with regard to the premises. It'd be a big investigation, just like this case of Toomey, Tony, where said 10 defendants went for 58 days. It was, it's a big, big case.
Do you recall the actual location where you fell, Brent?
I don't actually know the location, but I know where I was found, and it was Flinders Lane in Melbourne.
So you obviously fallen off a balcony somewhere, is that correct?
Yeah, it is correct.
Now, Nuncio, the first starting point would have been the occupier.
Exactly
You
right.
want to go and inspect the premises,
Yep.
check out the balcony, see if there's any CCTV footage,
Exactly
see if
right.
there's any witnesses. What about family, Brent? Did you have family that sort of chipped in to try and help find out what happened to you?
Well, I'm not sure if they helped find out what happened, but I had a lot of family support throughout the years
Okay.
of my recovery.
Tony, this probably brings into, I suppose, into like the National Disability Scheme that has been, proposed by the government, and it's in its baby infancy. That's something that could help or assist someone like Brent, where there's no negligence effectively in this case.
Brent, what sort of activities prior to your injuries did you engage in? Were you a sports person?
Yeah, I used to love sport, going to the gym, just general fitness, and because I worked at the Collingwood Football Club, like I used to go to the Lexus Centre every night and train in the gym, and I used to love boxing. But at the moment with my left side, this is all I can do with my left arm, so boxing is not really there. It's my love, but yeah.
What do you do for exercise or sport these days?
Because I've got a brace on my left leg, walking is my passion. I walk probably between 5 and 10k a day.
That's fantastic.
Don't get to the bus anymore, I just walk.
Very impressive.
And Nons, if you're in Brent's situation, it's commendable that he's out there talking to young people these days.
Oh, look, it's fantastic. I said a lot of people, which would be understandable, would sort of go in their shell and could give up on life. But Brent's being proactive and even I said giving out his lessons that he's learned over the years to other people in society. I think it's very much commendable, and we do praise you for that.
Thank you.
We've got to go to a break, viewers, so stay tuned. After the break, we'll continue with Brent's story.